May the Sith be... there's a joke here. Anyway, so today we're going to be doing prep work for a comic book or an RPG book that I'm doing. This particular book has got some complicated scenes in it that are very, very difficult to draw. So I've been putting it off until I felt like I was a much better artist on it. Which I didn't realize that was what I was doing. That wasn't the intention. But I think I've come around to the clue that that was what I was doing, which seems ridiculous now in hindsight. And I don't know. But, you know, the human mind is not one of those things that makes total sense all the time. So, anyway, we're going to go ahead and we'll be working on, and I'm going to go ahead and share this screen here. So, because the property is intellectual property, yada, 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 I'm going to go ahead and just black out the words so that I'm not broadcasting this guy's RPG book everywhere. It seems like a rude thing to do. So, we're working here. Here's what we're going to do. Since this is going to be just prep work, I'm working only in blue line. I have instructions right here that tell me what was supposed to be here. Originally, when I went over to his house, I put a ruler on the page and then wrote instructions using my phone, which I love my phone, which has a pen so that I can write directly on the artwork. That makes this a whole lot easier. This page is all about cat people. Meow. So, what we have under the instructions is that the cat person is being like parkour. No, you qua. Okay. And the idea is that there are two sides here of like buildings or something. And the cat is going up like this and up like that. And that's where we're going to design our lines here. And because the idea is the cat is jumping from wall to wall, I'm going to do kind of the Spider-Man thing, right? You've got one leg here, and he's looking up this way. Another leg is here. Then he's springing here. So spring, right? With his arms forward like this. His body twisted. Like this. Spring. Right? And then here, I'm going to put one down here. He's getting ready to spring into action right here. Right. Then he springs. And I think I actually kind of want to shrink this entire piece down. I feel like we're getting not enough space here. So I'm going to move this side over. He's still here like this. Still want to put him in line. I'm more interested. This is a straight line down here, so I don't care. If it's the straight line, I can just go warp, warp, warp. Warp, warp, warp. I'm sounding like Chopper. Warp, warp, warp. Right? put a dumpster here. There's always a dumpster. All right, with trash in it. So there we go. Make sure he has cat ears, otherwise people will be like, "For what? Why is he doing that? Is he a spider?" So we'll do that and that and that. And this is where his body is twisted over because cats. And then we'll have up here. Right. Holding on over here. And looking this way. Preparing to jump that way. And then he's over here, looking over this way. Looking this way. And then he's over here landing. Whee! Hey, Brent. Good morning, man. Good to see you. We are working on a RPG book, and the interior art for this RPG book. And what we have is this piece, which requires sort of a cat guy bouncing back and forth up the side of two buildings in a parkour sort of way. So I am trying to display that here. And we're just going to do roughs today. Give me something to do. As I was saying, I blacked out the actual text because the text is proprietary and probably wouldn't be a good idea for me to, mangle it or whatever. So, there's that. So what we've got here is just a rough idea of where I want to go. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because I want to move through a few of these today. So there is kind of that. I've got this parkour cat thing, which I'm doing. I want to think about some of the other things that would be here. There's like trash in the alleyway. This is a post-apocalyptic game, and maybe we'll even have a fence over here, right? There's like this fence that can't be easily broken into, and that's why cat guy here has to get out this way, right? He's trapped in, and maybe I'll even add razor wire, because razor wire, and that explains why cat guy here is doing this, is to get out of this spot. So he's here, and then we'll do this. This is how cat guy escapes the alley. There we go. This uses that. And so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And he's out. And that works. Okay. So that's the rough that I'm doing for this guy. So what we're doing there is now we're going to unblack out the main page so that there isn't that there. And then I'm going to flatten it and then save it because he's going to Parquois. I don't know. I've never seen that particular episode of The Office. But we've got, oh man, you're just going to get past. We're going to save this and just overwrite the existing file because this is just a work file. I have a I have the originals here for this. Oh man, everything is out of place. So I don't have to worry about overwriting. What I did was I took the PDF. He gave me a PDF of the game book itself. And I just took the PDF and then I loaded each page in. I'm going to do page 95 next. I loaded each page in with I can't talk and load these things at the same time. It's interesting because I can talk and draw at the same time, but I can't seem to talk and load pictures at the same time. Isn't that weird? Okay. Back to work. Slave. Here we go. Page 2. Okay. So this is a page. Most of this stuff is from the character creation section of this. So what I'm going to do here is we have this is the bird people, Birdman. So knowing that, I'm going to put a point of perspective here. I know, isn't that weird though? Anyway, but we're going to have effectively this, right? And this is the bridge over troubled waters. Like a bridge over troubled waters. Okay. So here is the bridge that I want to use. Maybe I want it a little further over though. Like here. Yeah, this looks good. Right there. So this bridge, right? Captain Caveman. I think they used the same concept for those two. I mean, Birdman was sort of homage anyway, so that makes some sense. Hey, we got a cityscape back here. Yeah, and this is the bridge. And here's the riverbank or whatever it is. I'm not 100% sure that this is a river. It says this character is found all through this area. So that makes logical sense that right through here, where Washington, D.C. would be and Virginia and stuff like that, would make sense that this is probably a New York bridge or a Washington, D.C. bridge or something, a bridge over something over in the East Coast. So we know we've got this. And what we really want here is this bridge coming up like this and coming back down. At the top, it's a suspension bridge. So we'll have the suspension lines like this. And then you'd have like right through here, because this will be also coming out like this. This is the overhang. I'd put, maybe something like that. There we go. So now I've put a little overhang here. So this is the bridge's deck is right up here. Here's the other side of the bridge. And its suspension lines. You always offset the suspension lines, because if they're on the, there's a artistic technique. It's called converging lines. And if I put all of these lines on the opposite side of the deck here, then you can't see it. And it makes it look like the other side of the deck doesn't have suspension wires. So we don't want to have converging tangents. So we offset the lines in a nice artistic way so that people don't see the same piece of the decking there and go, Okay, down here, I'm going to have a pillow and a sleeping bag on the bottom part of this deck, because these guys are half bird, half human, so they really don't care if they're hanging out over here. And then I'll put one guy right here as he looks out over the deck. And, I feel like the deck should be higher, like there. And I'll do that. A little darker color here. Right, so here is this guy. He'll just be hanging on right here to the deck as he looks out over the ocean. Give you a little bit of vertigo here. Hey, Patsy, welcome aboard. We're doing roughs here on a comic, or not comic, I keep wanting to say comic so bad, on a role-playing game book that I'm working on. And so this book is about all of these hybrid humans. So this guy is half bird, half human. So I've got him in this nice little bed that he's built on the side of a bridge. All right. This is his nest, so to speak. I figure like a bird, he'd put a nest out here, on the side of this bridge. He's holding on to one of the suspension wires. And there you go. And he's got a nice leather jacket on, because they all do, and a t-shirt. Right? And then just leave it like that. Meanwhile, I have another one up here, and he's flying around. I don't know, really. I don't know where I'm going with this guy. I'll figure something out. Maybe he's going this way. I had him going this way, but maybe he's going that way. There's something that they're seeing. They're obviously seeing things. This guy's got his eyes turned this way, so this guy should probably have his eyes turned that way as well. So that because there's obviously something out in the river that they're looking at, and they're about to fly off and do something about. So maybe I'll add another one who's perched right here on top of the roof, or on top of the suspension line. Yeah, looking at dinner. That's what they're looking at. Hey, where's dinner? It's out there. Everybody, fly, fly, be free. Okay, so there's my rough for this page. In this instance, because I really don't want to cross the streams too much over here, I want to kind of retain as much of this as possible. I'm going to, before I cut it down, I'm going to trim some of this blue line off of the edge work, the scroll work on the sides. Bird Vengers assemble. And then clear it out of the map area here. And off the text area. This will thank you. This will at least give me a border so that I'm going to flatten this. This is an instruction page. As I was saying before, I snapped the page from the PDF and made a 8.5 by 11 at 300 DPI master copy, which is what this is. Now, the truth is that it's Photoshop. I can lay in anything I want and just cut the text out later. But I like having the text with me to give me a guide of exactly where I can put in the artwork and exactly how close can I get to the edges on this. So there is that. I'll switch back here while I do this real quick so that I can uncover the text. And I'll flatten it and save it. That gives us 2 pages done on this one. Then I'll open the next one. Open the next one. So the next one out is a long way down. Going out to page 97. And I'll put something on top of it. Right here. And this is good. I like this page because it's got a graphic to it. So here we go. I'll go back to this page and share it. So we have this DNA graphic here, which was put in, which will help. So this is a little bit more difficult. So I'm kind of struggling with this one here. Because it says the Birdman is releasing a chemical cloud on victims. So I don't know. Do I want victims like this? You know, like we got the classic sort of running for their lives victims who, you know, are looking this way and the baby is looking this way or whatever, and holding the victim, holding the baby as she's running, sort of thing. And this guy's looking up and waving some kind of sickle. I'm sure sickle, because there's always sickles. He's trying to fight it off. Through here. I love that there's always sickles. I don't even know why. I am sickled to death of these things. Ha ha ha. Okay, I'm funny. Right, old guy here and like some kind of whatever, and he's waving the thing. Right, and then we got this person here who's running for their lives, or at least trying to get Grandpa here to stop waving the stupid sickle. Stop waving the stupid sickle. It's not gonna help, right? And then we've got one carrying here with a wingspan, huge wingspan. Right. So, these guys, in order for a human to be lifted, you have to have wings. There's a mathematical formula for how big a wing you have to lift certain things. So these guys are dropping psychotropic things. So there's clouds everywhere, and it's spraying. And we've got another one back here. This is like firebombing, trying to avoid the obvious pooping on them effect, which wouldn't go over well. All right, we got people who are here who are covering their mouths because this is nasty stuff, whatever it is they're dropping. And this person's already on the ground, dying, or whatever. I'm not sure whether this kills them or not. But I'm assuming we will have somebody here on the ground not doing so well anymore. And this person here is worried about this person, and right. Or, wow, you know what? Should be looking up, like, get up, dude, get up, get moving. Right? Well, I also figure that somebody here has got to have a gun. There's got to be a gun involved somehow, but I'm not sure what weaponry is. It seems like unless these guys are armed, I can't figure out how these guys would survive doing stuff in a gun environment. What? There's flying humans with gas, and I'm just going to let them do that. So I'm assuming they've got cutting implements of some sort, and that's all these guys have. These are easy pickings for these guys. I'm just going to assume that. I'll go back in like I always do and double check the writing at some point. But I know that if I don't start doing these drawings and at least get a rough in, I'm never gonna. So this is just haunt me forever. So the rough has to be made at least here. So we're making the rough. We're doing the work here. We got somebody else right here. This person right here is already falling down and coughing and stumbling. Right? It sucks. And I'm going to I reverse the hands. Everybody's got their right hand over their mouth. This guy should have his left hand over his mouth. Mom probably should be putting a mask over the child's face. Like that's what moms would do. So I'm going to do that right there. This is a role-playing book, so super drama. Everything has to be super drama. You're showing your GMs and players how to play the game. And I think that the thing about role-playing books is that they are the pictures have to depict more than just this is what Cthulhian horror looks like. You've got to depict this is what a Cthulhian horror looks like, and this is them eating everything, because that's what Cthulhian horrors do. So, you want to show that so that both the players and the GM have a clue as to what's going on here. So I'm going to switch back to video for a second because I want to read the black line under the black line here. And I can't because that doesn't have any information. I don't know why this isn't related to that page. Okay. Hey, not a problem. I'll switch back to this page. So, and maybe he's just got like some kind of walking stick. He's, waving at them or whatever. But I will go through here and I'm going to erase some of this because now she's got this arm up like this to cover the mask going over the child's face. And then this arm is holding the child. So there we go. Give some action here. She's got a lot of action. These guys don't. So I really want some kind of, these people are running for their lives or something sort of action. So we get moving here. We got this going. Right? Totally, man. Wave the stick, old dude. Fight the flying bombers with your stick. Bap. Bap. Okay. I'm having way too much fun with the old dude. The old dude cracks me up. I mean, just the fact that he's standing here going, ha-ha, I will fight you with my old stick. I'd like to think that when I'm 90-something, that'd be me, right? Just standing there like with an old stick. And I'm, that's what I'd like to think would happen. But I don't think that'll really happen. Probably just, there won't be anything to old stick. But we like stick dude. I mean, he's like waving his stick and yelling at them. And meanwhile, like his kid is over here going, Dad, get moving. Because like totally that's what I would do. And I know my dad would wave some goofy stick around too in the middle of an assault like this. And I'd be like, will you just move, Dad? Do you have to stick yourself in the line of fire here? So here's this wing. What is going on with that? I have this same problem with my surface. It's not as dramatic, but there we go. I agree. I mean, you're always going to have that one guy, That one guy. And it does take a little bit it takes a little bit of, it adds some levity to it. I've been trying to add some levity to a lot of these things because, that seems to be sort of the nature of this book. It's not super dramatic. It's a post-apocalyptic with a little bit of humor going for it. And so I feel like that you're right, Andrew. It adds a bit of relatable humor without obliterating the drama. I'm going to go on ahead and do that. And then, I forgot to trim down the artwork over here. So I'll trim down the artwork real quick. I don't want the artwork to exceed really, I'd like to think we're all that guy. We're all like the dude who's sitting there just in the end. Okay, now I've trimmed the artwork down. I'm going to flatten it. I'm going to save it. This is a chaos picture if there ever was one. I'll up the chaos later. we'll have a couple of these where I'll take these back in, and you'll see them as we get further along on this. These are, I am that guy. Amos, Amos that's a good, I love Amos. So he was completely different in my head. The image of Amos was completely different than what he ended up being when Chatham took him over. But now that I have watched all the way through to season 4, the Amos that I had in my head is completely replaced. That's the same thing I had with Holden. Holden was the same way. So this one is a group shot of 3 different kinds of dudes. Love his famous Amos cookies. Yeah. But that's a thing that, I find that's one thing I'm really discovering that at first I was not sure about their actor choices. But now that I'm in season 4, even reading the books now, the actors are coming to mind instead of the version that I had in my head. And I find that to be right. I mean, yeah, and when I first saw it, I was like, I don't know. He doesn't look like the character, but he acts like Amos. I mean, he totally does. I mean, and it's funny because, like, it's not my job to tell them how to draw how to do their characters. Okay, so these are all the characters who have psychic abilities, I think. And so I'm going to real quickly do a reference check. It's been a while. Really? Alex was the one that fit the best with his, like, not real Southern drawl. Oh, I love Alex. Although his Southern drawl has gotten better in time. So I feel like he's not as, I don't know. It's not as bad as it was at one point. Okay. So, yeah, and oh yeah, she is the best. Bobby is so cool. Well, now Bobby was one of my favorites in the original show anyway, right? So, or in the original show, in the books, Bobby was one of my favorites. And she's always been one of my favorites. She was one of my favorite characters in the entire story. For the rest of you guys, if you're wondering, what are we talking about? We're talking about The Expanse. But the thing that I always loved about Bobby was when they described her as, she's a Marine. She's a Martian Marine. And so she's Vasquez, effectively, in my head. And they cast Bobby, and I'm like, yeah, no, that fits. And so Bobby fit very well. Okay. A Jim is an earthworm. Earthworm Jim. So I get the feeling that we're talking about somebody who's earthwormian, right? So, lots of earthworm stuff. And then the eyes. Okay. So that's earthworm-esque. Espers are humans. And bulbs look like aliens. So we'll do the bulbs, or they look like, like your classic gray alien. You can go off subject. It's okay. I'm actually not 100% sure what I'm doing today. So this is good. I'm just tootling along doing my thing. So let's see here. These are all right. Well, yes, exactly. That's exactly what they're after here. Is these are the quote unquote gray. No, this isn't an Earthworm Jim RPG, but it's. I know that that's where the Jims are making their joke from. No, this is a buddy of mine who is doing a post-apocalyptic game. So the question is, what are three espers doing on this page? I'd like to do something that was entertaining and fun and, not obviously what... I mean, all the pictures of all of the main races in this book are, them holding knives and swords and looking serious and like they're going to kill you. And though I get that, I also feel like that, that offset it by a little bit of slice of life. So what's the slice of life that I'm looking for here? You have Jims who are farmers, effectively. In fact, that seems to be even their character portrait in this book has him farming. So, yes, he's my age. The creator is my age. I even think you've probably met him. I know you've met him. And yeah, actually, it's not a secret. I mean, there's nothing secret about this. I'm working on one of Fred's projects. So I know you know him, but it's because you've interacted with him in the gaming room, I'm pretty sure, at NDK. So anyway, but it's kind of the pictures that are in here are evoking a more battleistic method when it comes to, like, it's so hard to explain. But I feel like, so we've got two warrior classes and a farmer. And not only that, the two warrior classes. The two warrior classes are more. I don't know. This is hard because this is a mixed bag. So what would you have these warrior classes do? What could they do that would be outside of the box? Are they? Man, this is so difficult. So what would two psychics want with earthworms? So maybe, if you think about this, you've got one earthworm here, who is maybe standing here with farming equipment like this, putting his hands. A drink. Yeah. Having a drink. That wouldn't be bad either. I mean, that does seem pretty nominally like what you would do. But, what if we had some kind of investigation, right? Got like, this guy's standing here. He's got his little coveralls on because he's an Earthworm Jim sort of character. And the Esper is right here, and he's taking notes, right? And maybe he's trying to read the guy on the ground, and the guy on the ground is some kind of jinn, or not jinn, a bulb who's asleep. He's unconscious. Yeah, right? It's a theft of some sort. So we got this guy here who's trying to figure out what's going on with... Because in post-apocalyptic world, there would still be people who were trying to make society work. So I feel like... And then there's like another bulb here who's, like trying to... Right? So maybe what we have is, this guy's sitting here and he's got a knife in his chest. And the Esper is sitting here trying to figure out what the heck happened. What's going on? Esper police. I'm a police officer. I don't know, but this is a rough one. I'm probably going to let this one brew for a little bit and think it through. Because I'm not 100% sure if I like this or not. I don't feel like sharpening their swords or cleaning up their equipment. That's not bad either. But I mean, I get the impression reading the book that these gyms don't actually like to involve themselves in all of the fighting, stuff like that. So I could see that maybe this is a kingdom going on here, right? You've got a fiefdom of some sort going on, and the gyms are just your little workers. They just sit out there and do all the farming, and so it's all good. They're happy. But yeah, I feel like that, I don't know. I feel like that's kind of a thing. Not all of these are going to come out perfect the first time, so I'm just going to leave this the way it is and then come back to it later, right? So that's what we're going to do. This is how this works. I'm going to bring the camera back online so I can swap pages. And we're going to do one more page, and then we'll be done for the day. Moving on to the next page. Page 109. Now, this one's relatively easy. So, I'm going to black out the drawings. And then add a line item. Hey, you're here! Good, I can ask all kinds of questions. Seeing as how Fred has joined us. There was one earlier that I was hoping that you'd be here for, where I was working on it, and I can't remember what it was, but that's okay. I'll share the page again. So, now we're on 109. And we've got all kinds of stuff going on here. So, this says bulbs are using psychic powers. So this is a page where the bulbs are doing a thing right here in some way. I want to make it, let's see, because the bulbs are effectively gray aliens in a lot of ways. I mean, that's just the impression I'm getting just looking at the pictures. They're like humans crossed with gray aliens. So it almost would be funny if the bulbs are using some psychic power that, was like a probe, like, or something like that. I don't know. But trying to convince a cow to do something would be really funny. because it's, it'd be that inside joke. And I'm hoping that Fred will tell me, yeah, that sounds like a great plan. So, as I was saying before, Fred, these are all roughs. They're just really quick. I just want to get an idea. Part of what's slowing me down is that I just have no ideas for what to put into these things. Because I want to put a slightly irreverent humor in there, but I don't want to push it too far because this is a serious book. So I don't want to be too goofy, but, if you had a cow, like, here's a cow. And then you have bulbs trying to use psychic powers on them. That would be pretty funny. Well, I figured I just basically had the idea that they have their hands out, right? And maybe they're putting their hands on their foreheads like this to indicate Karnak style, damn it. I swear. Pressure sensitivity goes nutsoid. This is not the grass you want to eat. It's kind of like the cow is just like, what? Really? This is what you want to do? Maybe he's eating. Right? I'll come back and fix my cow later. I just need to know what the rough idea here is. Fred's not saying anything about my idea with a cow here. I'm not sure if this is the rough. I'm going to go back in and I'll probably build it in 3D so that they're not flat. I feel like this is so flat. And so I'll have to deflatten it. I've had a lot of you guys on here today, though. I've had Andrew and Phoenix and Fred and Brent and Patsy. I've gotten a lot of people here. Am I missing anybody who was on here? And no, it looks like that's about all and David, good old David, who hasn't said anything in a long time. So, okay, good. Well, as long as you approve, I like the slightly irreverent humor of people who look kind of like aliens, like grays, trying to convince a cow to one can fill in the blanks that he's trying to convince the cow to mutilate himself, or whatever. I think that's a thing. That's cool, David. Just, I was like, oh, David hasn't said anything in a while. This is what young bulbs do. You see, young bulbs go out into the field, and instead of tipping cows, they try to convince cows. So this is my new theory in life. Maybe this cow's like, what? What are you doing, dude? You okay, man? You okay? Because, totally, I don't know what to do with you. So, cow. I don't have references on cows, and I don't have a lot of call to draw cows, honestly. So, there's always that. But I think this would be a kind of a cute side thing. It was convince the cows to tip themselves. Cow pulls out his wallet, gives himself a $5. There you go. Ha ha! Little did you know. Anyway, so I think that's pretty much where I am on this page. Looking at it like this, I feel kind of like that would be a funny thing. I might pull it back so that it's not quite as... that's my wife. She's on a call. So, anyway, so do this because I feel like he's too close to the cow now. I'll shrink him down a little bit. He's not. There we go. And cow's probably not impressed. Yep. She's now gone downstairs. I think the idea was that she was probably just trying to transit. She knows that I'm broadcasting, so she's trying not to be in the middle of my broadcast. And now that I've done another one, I think now that I've given some space, I think I want to do another one where it's like he's like sitting there going, hey, yeah, convince him to tip himself. That'd be funny. Like the kids trying to encourage this kind of going on here. Yeah, he'll tip himself if you just keep going. Keep trying. And then I can put this arm out like this a little bit more. And then here's this hand. Yay. Instead of over here. The cow's not impressed. Right? Oh, now that's not a bad alternate reading here. That's good. I like that. I like the idea that you can read this as he's trying to train the cow, or you can read it that if you get deeper down, you can read that he's trying to convince the cow to mutilate himself, which I think is, funnier. And but it's got like a legitimate real reading, so you can really read this scene. So, okay, I'm going to bring the video back online here. I'm going to go click so that I can remove the black bars, flatten the image, and continue on with this one. So page 109 is prepped. And put down. So today we've gone through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We went through and prepped 5 pages for you, Fred, if you're still here. And that's where we are on this one. We'll prep the remaining 5, or we'll prep 5 more tomorrow. There are a lot of pages to be done here. But if I can get through this stage, they'll move quickly once I've gotten through trying to, the hard part here is getting the right balance of irreverence and seriousness, because I feel like that's what you're really after in the game, is you really want, oh no, it's my curtains. My curtains are open. And the camera is, I had the camera really close, and then all you saw was my left eyeball. And so what I did was I put the camera on an arm, and that makes it so that when I shake the table, it shakes the camera a little, but that's okay. And then my snowball is actually now in frame, which is all right. It kind of looks cool. But it also means that when I have the curtains open like that, it's in the frame, which that's not typically a real problem. But yeah, it does kind of look like tape. Okay, guys. Well, we did 4 pages of prep today, and I'll do, or 5 pages of prep today. I'll do 5 more pages tomorrow. This is a project that's going to take some time, but I want to do at least 1 or 2 days worth of this work every week to get through this quicker. And thank you. And I will see you all tomorrow at 10. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate it. And goodbye. Have a good day.